Okay. Okay. We're starting over. 3, 2, 1. The visual cast. Okay, well, again, I'm going to start over. Thank you so much for waiting. You guys are the best fans ever. I'm super lucky to have this amazing community and, being able to keep you guys interested and engaged. I'm super happy for that. Thank you all for waiting around for so long. A few things I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show. The first thing being, I'm sorry for not having a stream last month. Been going through some stuff personally, and I will try to make it up this month. And if not making it up this month, then we'll be next month. I have a few people in the canon, so hopefully we can get it to go. So please bear with me, and thank you for sticking around. The second thing is I've been super lax and late when it comes to releasing episodes weekly. I have 2 episodes ready in the canon right now to come out that I think you will all be super excited about for the guests. They're both really amazing and interesting guests. One of them is a huge legend. I don't want to say the name, but if I will, everybody will be very excited. And please just stay tuned for that. That will be coming out very soon, and I'm going to try and shift now to a bi-weekly release so that it's a little bit less pressure for me, but I can be more coherent and consecutive. I don't know what the right word is, but I can be more on top of releasing, and the expectation can match as well. So please stay tuned for that. And the third thing is actually the 6th thing, because I already did this in the part when you didn't hear anything. So the the third thing is I'm starting a new venture called Rem Repo. It's basically a place that I can put all of my vibe coding journey and applications and plugins and modules that I'm releasing for Unreal, for Touch Designer, for other softwares, standalone programs, skills for AI as well, for vibe coding. And it's basically it's an adjacent community to the Visual Cast. I don't think it's a full community. That's why I kind of opened up a new one. But if any of you watching are interested, please let me know. Check out the website. It's live, but it's not live. So it's more of like a little bit of a test to see how people react to it. And it will be being updated in the next few weeks. And I think the first product will be released actually sometime this week. So go up, check it out. It has links to my GitHub. It has links to other places that we're going to be doing, and there's a membership aspect to it that will be offering a weekly meetup in our Discord, a private Discord, access to me. Cool. And almost like a little bit of a mentorship, but trying to keep it as kind of like, community building as possible. And there's also an option there if you can't afford the membership. Please just let me know and tell me how much you can afford, and we'll try and get everybody in there. I want to get as many people involved as possible. I want to build a community around this kind of like visual community, but also oriented towards something a little bit more focused around actual products and actual releases. So there's actual use for the things that we're getting besides just building a community. All right, I think that was the second one. I don't know. I think the first go was better, Matthew, but we'll have to take it. It doesn't exist anywhere else besides for the fake YouTube without audio. So without any further ado, I'm very excited for today's guest. He's an awesome guy. He's a good friend. He's an amazing artist, super eclectic, super beautiful, physically and internally and spiritually. And I'm really happy to have him on the podcast because every time we hang out, it's always super fun. So welcome for the second time, for the last time, for the first time, Matthew Childers, a.k.a. Digital Introspect. Welcome, my friend. I mean, the fact that we still have people tuning in is a good sign. People like this thing, and we have amazing fans that really like to be here. So let's do it. Hey, everybody. Matthew's here. For those of you not familiar with Matthew and Digital Introspect, please check out our first episode. One of the first guests, one of our. Well, we can't hear Matthew. Why can't we hear Matthew? Let's continue. So you were saying about your amazing new product that we're all excited to hear about.
Yeah, it started as a personal art project, pretty much. I got a Raspberry Pi for Christmas from my dad, and I wanted to learn how to hack new things and possibly use it for a personal video project. And so I started out like I bought a 5-inch touch display because I just wanted my visuals to be on this little display and then be able to swipe back and forth between the scenes and have it be audio reactive. And I was like, this is kind of, pointless. I should put like at least the weather or like the time on there or something.
Right, make it interactive.
Yeah, and then kind of in that process, it just occurred to me like, oh wait, I could totally output this to a display too. I didn't know that initially. I was trying to be like light on the Pi, and I was also programming everything with Python using Pygame, which is just not the most efficient way to do it. So then I was like, well, I want to try to output this to 1080 4K displays, so I had to kind of rethink how the whole thing was programmed, and that's what led to the next version, which is DiPi VJ. This thing. You see, this one does not have the screen because it's meant to use the output here to plug into a monitor. So yeah, it was kind of just a progression from that like novelty idea, basically. And I realized like, oh shoot, this would actually be really useful for a lot of people, visual artists, audiovisual technicians. So yeah, that's how it came to be.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's one of those things that you can talk about and be like, yeah, it's basically a little VJ box that plugs into a TV, and then lots of questions start to come up, and I'm really excited to hear more about it. I think when I first saw it, my initial reaction was, oh, that's cool as fuck, and that's something that people are gonna want, and I think that the way that you've kind of brought it into a actual product that has people interested in it and orders coming is really exciting, and I'm really excited for you because I feel like there's many people that could have done this idea, but I feel like not many people could have actually made it into something viable that isn't just like a gimmick. And I think that you're going to see kind of as this progresses and as this gets into more, something that people are using, it's going to become bigger and better and more interesting. So to the chat, please start asking questions if you have any. We're going to continue kind of going through it. I want to kind of hear a progression of this kind of product. You kind of gave us a little bit of a rundown. Your dad got you this Raspberry Pi. You got into making it like a novelty item for yourself, and then you realize that there's a product here. So I want to talk about, the design, the manufacturing. How do you test it? How did you conceptualize it further than just like, okay, this is something that I'm playing with? We both, you got into 3D printing a little bit before me, but I've been getting into it so heavily now. It's such an interesting and fun thing, and like it really opens up so many possibilities other than, messing around and making cool stuff. Like to fun to play with. You can also make actual products that are like that are
Whoa.
usable and functional.
What's that?
This is like a VOC air tester, so it tests for like the quality of the air.
Cool.
And I made this for $50, where like the actual stuff inside of it, the sensors are on like $400 products. So and this is like a prototype. I had to make like a bunch of these to get it. But it works, and it gives me. I got really nervous about the the Vox after buying a 3D printer, and my printer is in my office, so I have to be like kind of nervous, and I have a kid, so I got like really nervous about it. So I said, okay, I'll make this kind of like little sensor, and then I looked into it. It's like $400 to buy these sensors, and it's all like, smart bullshit, and it like ties into your. And I don't want to, people to track my data. So yeah, I looked into it. I didn't solder anything. I bought it. I bought it's like Stemma QT is the connection. It's like these little like things that plug into the things. But yeah, I mean, my point of showing that is kind of like we're in this era, we're in this kind of place where you can conceptualize something, and then not only can you like build it, but you can actually like produce it. So I'd love to hear.
Huh?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Tell me more, Matthew. I want to hear more about like the whole journey and like where you're at right now and how you're kind of like dealing with the whole thing.
Yeah, and I also don't know if I even explained it that well, but bits of the idea behind this is it's a solution for not having a laptop for every projector that you have. I would work on these like AV gigs doing corporate parties and fundraisers and events like that, and like they had to have a separate laptop to run these projectors that are like across the way with an NVIDIA card and Resolume licenses and all of that. So the idea was this is, for those kind of events where you like don't really need a VJ, you just need a bunch of clips and like some audio reactivity and a way to trigger transitions automatically. You could use these in place of a laptop and VJ software. And then as far as the 3D printing, I don't have a 3D printer. I want to get one very soon. I found a gal locally who could print this for me, but I was talking to Talbot. Everybody knows T-Bot. He's a VJ, and I was telling him about this, and I was trying to model a case for it in Cinema 4D, and he's like, "No, dude, like use Tinkercad. Like it's so easy. Kids can do it." And I opened it up, and maybe it took me like maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe more to like get an idea of the controls and stuff, but it is very simple to use. And I've printed many, and then they didn't turn out quite like I thought. Eventually I got to like this final one. This is the state of it now. And then I was going through one dude locally, and he's like, "You got to try this carbon fiber filament." His first print looked awesome, and I was like, "Okay, let's do 10 of them." And then I got 10 of them, and they were all fucked up. Whoops, I said a bad word.
Okay.
But yeah, and he's a nice like old man that I was buying them from, so I didn't want to like give him any crap about it. So I actually tried like another test with him, and hey, sweetheart, or you just woke up, huh?
Yeah, I woke up.
Yeah, you woke up.
Yeah, I woke up.
And say hi real quick.
Hi, sweetie. Wow, she got so big, huh? Crazy.
I know, they keep getting bigger. It's crazy. I think Bubby and Mommy are outside on the front porch. Can you go find them?
Thanks
Here,
for letting us hang out with your dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna open this window and Maya. I might have to run downstairs.
To take her down?
There you go. That's okay. Hey everyone, this is my lovely wife, Maya.
Hi.
Thanks, baby. That's gotta happen, I'm a dad.
Definitely.
What happens when you're a dad?
Definitely.
But
So
yeah,
you were
back to the
saying
thing.
that a few of them came out really bad, and you had to like redo it.
Yeah, and then I found a dude that my dad works with who's been printing them for me, and he does a really
Nice.
great job. But I do think I want to invest in a 3D printer like as soon as I can.
I could have sworn you had one. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe you were playing with a bunch of.
One.
I mean, there's a learning
wanted
curve.
one.
There's a learning curve. It's there's two things that I found with a 3D printer. There's a learning curve that is pretty apparent. Like you get it and you start printing out a bunch of stuff and they all work and you're like, oh wow, that's amazing. And then you start downloading files, and some of them work, some of them don't. You're like, okay, and then you make your own thing, and it doesn't work, and you're like, okay, there's actual stuff here, but
As far as the modeling aspect of it, or
yeah, just like I started off like this, right, and then I started getting these cracks, right? I just broke it fully, but it started cracking. And then, then I made a different size, and then I got a different size, and then this cracked, and then this doesn't fit in, and then, this one doesn't fit in, and the holes aren't correct, the holes where the pieces go aren't correct, and then, this is a small product, but it still used a lot of filament, and like the filament isn't even expensive, it's more like, the plastic waste that gets generated, especially if you do like multicolor, then it becomes like even a bigger waste. I have 4 bags, like 4-liter bags of garbage. And it's like some of it is like necessary garbage, like, supports and stuff like that you can't even get rid of. But some of it's just like failed prints that you also can't get rid of. But right now there isn't a at-home like recycler for this plastic. You know what I mean? There are machines that exist, but they're like $500, and you have to buy supplemental machines to like basically take the plastic and vulparize it. Vulparize? Okay. Is it the right word?
I have no clue.
Destroy it. Vulparize? Is that not a word? I feel like that's something. That's the yeah. Anyway, you have to break it up into small pieces, and then it melts it, and it strings it as it's melting. And I just saw one that's like a $500 all-in-one kind of thing, but $500 is still, it's like the price of the printer. So, and then also like it's still melting plastic, so it's like it can go wrong. It doesn't always come out perfectly. So I feel like that solution is coming soon. They'll have a better, kind of like all-in-one recycler. But I do have a little bit of qualms about that. And I bought this printer 3 months ago. When I first bought it, I was printing all the time. And now I'm like taking a lot of breaks in between, because I'm like, do I actually need this thing? Or am I just, printing for fun or whatever? Am I learning something? Am I printing this for my kid? What am I doing here? I like have a little bit of conscious thought about before I start printing. But that being said, you're building a product. You're building a pipeline. And I think for your like just R&D, to like, should I add the thing here? Should I make the thing here? I think you'll get a lot more out of it, Yeah,
totally. Yeah, would you have the bamboo, or what did you get?
I got the Bamboo Lab. I had a lot of qualms about this as well, because obviously, for those who don't know, Bamboo Lab has changed their terms of service, and like you have to. Yeah, it was a pretty big thing that happened like last year. I wasn't in the community enough to like really give a shit, but then when I started buying, I was like, "Oh, is this an issue?" And I decided that, and this is a weird decision because I'm very not like this usually with everything else, but I decided that for the 3D printing product, I'm okay with being monitored and like having to use their system and not jailbreaking my 3D printer, because I'm not planning on like printing any guns. That's really what it comes down to. If you're not going to print guns, then it doesn't really matter. I also think that it's a year past, and people have already jailbroken it. So if I do want to ever get to a point where I don't have to use Bamboo Lab services or be online, I could just jailbreak it and whatever. The benefits outweigh the downsides. The benefits of the all the integration that the software has is insane. Like, auto leveling, auto this, auto that. It understands when there's issues. I even had a service problem that I had to contact Bamboo Lab service for. They were super responsive. And the ecosystem is great. All their filaments are cheap, so
cool.
I was very happy with it. I got, the P2S with the multicolor kind of switcher on top.
Nice.
And yeah, I think it's the best one for the price point. I think that there are probably, if you're going to be buying within the next year, there are probably other things that are coming out that are maybe better. It seems like now the The tool head changers are like the biggest thing, because if I do multicolor print, I'm wasting tons of filament in between. It's just the way that it works. It has to
Right.
it has to flush all the exactly, and in between there's a lot of waste. The multi-tool head, like switch out the tool head so that there's not as much going on there with waste filament, but they're more expensive. There's more mechanical switching is going to bring in more errors. So I don't know. I'm sure you'll do your own research.
I want one. I mean, it's been recommended to me because I felt like being kind of in the middle of this project, I didn't really want to take a whole lot of time to learn 3D printing. So from what I heard, it's the most like kind of plug and play
Yeah.
thing. I know there's still stuff that happens, but seems like good for beginners.
Yeah, I think it's good for beginners, and like I'm the same as you. Like I've been following 3D printing for like 6 or 7 years, but I never jumped it because I was like, oh, there's too much tinkering. There's too many things that can go wrong. I don't want to learn this whole new thing. And then when Bamboo came to the scene, their whole idea was like plug and play. And I think that this iteration of the plug and play is so good. Like I told you, like the first 3 weeks, I had no issues, not one. And then when I started going a little bit into advanced level, issues started arising. But nothing that I couldn't learn fast. You know, it's like, I think it's a really cool adventure.
Yeah.
Just to get us out of this 3D printing thing, I have 2 questions for us here. One is from Frau Sarah Megan. She asked, is the where is her question? How does the DP VJ compare to the Entropy Video Synth? Is there actual synthesis?
I feel like I've heard of that synth. You can load GLSL in here and have like pure GLSL shaders that play. Otherwise, it's what I have mostly on here is a bunch of rendered clips with GLSL effects on top of it. I am not like great at GLSL at all. I barely understand it on to like make these custom shaders and stuff. So, I do want to spend more time because I have a collection in here that were basically like all vibe coded and done pretty quickly, but I still wanted people to know like you can use your own GLSL in here. But that's definitely something I want to dive into more to have more intricate GLSL scenes that come with it.
Nice.
But as a render artist that I've been for a long time now, I had tons and tons of VJ loops and things. So that's primarily what comes with it.
Nice. 2 things about that. One is, for any of you wanting to learn about GLSL, check out the episode we had with Theron Pry, aka the founder of Synesthesia. He really gives
He's an amazing dude too.
He's a super nice dude and smart guy, and he goes into depth about like what GLSL is. So check out that episode. And I will also say that I think that now with the advent of vibe coding, just in general, like kind of like what it opens, I think that using GLSL to make visuals is going to become even easier. I'm sure that we could probably, and I mean we, like I'm like, I want to be part of this too, Matthew, that we can make a skill for like a vibe coder that can automatically make the GLSL work for your system, so make it even an easier bar of entry. I'm sure that we can do that. And then the second question we have from Velomain is, seems like you're full-time in the creative realms. When you were first getting started, what took you from needing a day job to full-time creative? Great question.
Let's see, when did that transition happen? I was kind of, well, that's a long story because it's been going on for a while now.
I will also say we kind of dove into this in our first podcast. So if you really, Velomain, if you really want to know the whole story, definitely check out the first podcast that we did with Matthew. But yeah, I mean, give us like a, please.
I mean, I will say it's a major hustle, and it's never finished, and I'm always pretty much stressed about money, and I always feel like I'm not going to make it, and then it feels like last minute I will I will land a decent job. Um,
A gig.
and I've been like basically doing that for many years now. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I don't recommend it honestly. But I am pretty much like unemployable, I guess, because every if I'm lucky enough to get an interview, I can just tell when I'm there. They're like, this guy's not right for this job, you know?
It's like you have all this
I stutter.
experience. You have all this experience, all this knowledge, 15 years more even, and it's like doesn't help.
I'm terrible at communicating it too. Like I know I'm bombing the interviews when I'm there. I will put myself down accidentally. Like I'll walk in there and be like, I'm going to say this, and, oh, this is how I should talk about my Python skills or whatever. And then I'm there and I'll be like, I like just look up scripts when I need them, and I can take like a variable and move it there. I'm not very good at Python, like that's what I'll say.
I mean, the fact that you even get an interview is impressive. We're living in a world where it's almost impossible to find jobs. It's like everybody's using AI to apply for jobs. Every job is using AI to find the jobs. It's like a massive numbers game that almost doesn't even relate to reality. So,
Yeah,
I think
mean, we live in West Virginia. We actually live in a really nice neighborhood, but part of the thing about moving here was being able to make money online, and we were like living pretty much in the ghetto, and my son was getting a little bit older, and we were realizing like, man, this is not really what we imagined, the environment we imagined raising a kid, and I sort of didn't see like any way out, because I didn't feel like if I stay in California, I still have all the same contacts for work. Most of it I'm doing online and at home. I didn't see myself like making that much more money if I stayed there. So that's part of the reason we chose to move someplace cheap to get by.
it makes a lot of sense. Especially when you're gigging and doing things like that. I just want to touch on one point that you mentioned, that it's like almost not worth it. I think that we're a little bit jaded, obviously, because of time.
Totally.
It just naturally happens throughout time. You get jaded, even if you're not a jaded person. And then also like the experience creates that as well. I think if when you think back to like your first gigs or getting into it, the excitement and the feelings, I think are kind of going to always outweigh the outcome in some weird way. And also, being a parent, we're also kind of like in the headspace of like, don't do that for your future. But it's like also like, there's like that thing of like you have to fail to succeed, that thing. And it's like as parents, it's such a hard concept to think about. Like, I'm not gonna fuck my kid up so that he can succeed. It's like massively counterintuitive, but there's also something to that. Like, let them fall so they can get back up. So I think there's a threshold there, maybe that I definitely don't understand. My kid's way too young, and your kid's like in that point of like, that place where he's. I think your kid's 7 or 8, right? Is that right?
He turned 6 in June.
6. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're just getting there. But that being said, I think that there is like a lot of validity to like, what do young people, what should they do? Where should they go? And I don't have the full answers, but I think it's becoming more and more obvious to me that like, if you decide to go into visual arts or VJing or live performance, make sure that the skills that you're getting are multifaceted, that they're going to provide you with outlets or availability in other adjacent markets. Just as an example, I'll give 2 examples. One example would be a graphic designer or a motion graphics artist or a 3D artist. You can become a VJ and just learn how to VJ, but you can also become a VJ and learn how to do motion graphics, learn how to do 3D graphics, learn how to do content creation outside of cool abstract art. And yeah, that field is dwindling as time is going on, but it will always exist. There will always be a need for human-made and even human-directed art. I think that's something that's pretty obvious to me. And then the second one would be kind of like the emerging vibe coding kind of technology. I think that's very easy to see how you could integrate that into a live performance aspect, whether it is making your own software to VJ with, whether it's making GLSL through vibe coding or making art through vibe coding. I think that skill of learning how to use these tools in a way that's viable, i.e. making yourself a product or making yourself content through these tools, is it going to be a skill that's going to be useful in the future as well?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's so hard to say, but because then it feels too like, well, anyone could just learn it at any time. Do you really need like a bunch of experience with AI to know how to use it? Like, I think there is some learning curve to get the results you want, but like, how long is that going to be there? It's hard to say what's going to happen.
I think that with any technology, there's always going to be a learning curve. And yes, obviously the AI companies are trying to create this, all-in-one, all-encompassing kind of thing. I think it's just not really how reality works. We may get to a point where you can prompt something, and that something that you prompt is 100% ready to go out to the thing. And yeah, anybody can do that. But then there's always going to be that like level of experience and expertise of humans that I don't think is replicable. I'm very obviously could be very wrong, and obviously do not understand things on the level that scientists do. But I do consider myself somebody who's been going deep into this realm for the past 2 years, and to me it's very clear that like the more you understand how to use the tools, the cheaper and the faster your results are, and cheaper and faster are always going to be viable. And I think also to like the idea of like, okay, if everybody is vibe coding their own shit, then the people who know how to do it the best are going to be the ones that, come out over the pile. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're right to like maybe I appreciate the pushback actually, because I also don't really know the answer. I think to me it just seems like, and maybe it's like wishful thinking, but to me it seems like the more you can prompt the tool just from prompting it, but you can prompt the tool with all the best plugins, all the best skills, all the the best use models, the best workflows, and then also there's the idea of like, how do you prompt it, how do you direct it, how do you course correct it? I think that's a kind of a viable thing. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It is a whole mystery of like where this is actually going to go. Just trying to think about like
really
changes
fast.
Things very fast, very fast.
But it's still wild to be alive in this. 'Cause it still feels like brand new too, because we've just seeing it all evolve. It like always feels brand new, but it's been like many years. Has it been since like the crudest forms of machine learning and things, like at least a decade that Google had like Deep Dream stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's been about a decade, right? Or maybe even more.
More. Yeah.
But it still feels you're still like, oh my god, every day, especially
something
with,
new.
Like, the stuff Anthropic is doing, and
yeah.
And then there's the whole like weapons thing, and resources, and like, fuck. Right.
It's like we're at this like threshold. I bet that society's probably always going through this threshold of like, we have these amazing technologies, we have all these smart people, and it's like, okay, why can't we use this to do all these awesome things and make the world better and make humanity like succeed? And it's like, no, we need to use it to like train weapons and make target choices better. And it's like, fuck you,
or
like
just the control, the
surveillance, of course. Yeah.
Crazy.
So crazy. It's such a shame. I always think like in Greece, or Rome, when like all these smart people were like thinking of like different ways of debate or different ways of like governance. those are technologies, and like instead of those technologies being used to like free humanity, they were used to create even more enslavement and more control of government. And then obviously the government fell, right? Like the Rome capsized on itself. And it's like, why couldn't we use Plato's arguments to like find better ways to do medicine? It's like no, we need to use Plato's arguments to like better the going to war and conquering all these countries and becoming
Right.
this huge thing.
Yeah, how can we control the people if we're not controlling the oil that they need to consume?
Right.
We
Right.
have to have these points of control.
Yeah. Let's hope that that the AI helps shift the choices into a better place. That's still the kind of the feeling and like the positivity that I'm thinking of is that like there was that Mythos, Claude Mythos that was going to release, right? And it's like it didn't release because it's too dangerous and it's too powerful. And it's
Right.
like, to me, it's like almost like the politicians or the people in charge are like, no, we don't want you to use these tools because then all of our lies will be obvious and all of our misuse of things will come to light. And it's like I hope that will just happen, and that will create like this shift of like imbalance. But I don't know.
I like your positivity.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I do. 'Cause your optimism. I should try some more of that. And take a hit of
Okay.
optimism.
Yeah, take a hit of optimism. While we're kind of on this doomy and gloomy, let's go back
Sorry.
to... No, it's not your fault. It's just that's what it is. Let's go back to Deep Daipai. Could you tell us a little bit about the... you kind of were speaking a little bit about the manufacturing process. Can you tell us a little bit about the testing process and kind of how you've been, figuring out the best ways to interface with it and interact with it and like the use cases for it? Like how has that process been?
It's progressed a lot, even from like the first like real sloppy video I did of just like, oh, I got this thing working. Immediately people were asking like, oh, can it do this? And I was like, no, can't do that yet. I should do that. So, and that's still happening. There's still like a lot of things I want to change about it, but and then yeah, as far as like when I work on it here at home, I SSH from my Windows PC into it, so then I don't have to have a display hooked
That's
up
smart.
to it, and yeah, and then it's running in its final form. It runs like without a desktop anyway. It's in like a kiosk kind of setup.
That's awesome.
So yeah, SSHing in, and then when I want to, so I have like kind of like the master one. I actually have like a couple masters, so I have a backup. But then when I want to make a new one, I take a new board, or sorry, take my original one, and then I just copy the SD card to another one, SD card, and so it's got like all of the root settings are configured.
Super
Basically,
cool.
Takes like half
Can
an
you
hour to do it,
SSH
and then-
into ones in the wild? Like if I'm having issues, you can SSH into mine.
Yeah, you could actually. You could if you were connected to the hotspot, then you could SSH into it. There's a password on it, which I won't
hope
say
so.
either,
Yeah. What's the password?
but yeah, I know that would be crazy. You could do some very malicious things otherwise.
You know about that stuff pretty well too.
Yeah, I think about it. I do it to myself too sometimes. I recently wrote a script that would, on an iPhone, would go through your contacts and pick one person from every letter of the alphabet, and it would make a huge group text, and it would say like, "Great that we have everyone together for this. I'm looking forward to." But yeah, I just do it, for myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can do that.
Good security stuff. I guess I was asking about the SSH thing. It's like, that idea of like giving service. If somebody's having an issue, kind of creating a little bit more, confidence, with the thing.
Yeah.
If you can.
Could do that. I mean, they can also, if they had an issue, I could look into it here, and then I could make them an update for USB as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then they just boot it up with the USB, and it'll update it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I've been planning to do it, and how I've been creating updates for it so far.
Nice. And how has that been going? Like the process of people using them in the wild. Like what has been some, reactions? You've had some international sales as well. And actually, it's funny. Velomain did mention in here that he saw one of them being shipped to Illinois in Madison, but he doesn't. He doesn't know the person that bought it. But it's cool that is the zeitgeist is coming out.
Yeah, a lot of people. I've made like 4 or 5 sales to France, which is kind of weird. Like I don't know what's going on.
There's a huge VJ scene, huge VJ scene in France.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Canada and where else? Belgium. I can't remember everywhere. Right? Sweden. Yeah, they're
amazing.
Going out all over the place. It's
so cool.
Pretty wild. So far, it's been good. Reaction's been good. I got one email. It was the night before last, and somebody was like, I don't know how to get to the web UI. And then I replied back to them, and I didn't hear back from them, so I assumed. I gave them my number. Like,
they threw it down the floor, like, fuck.
Yeah. They're like, I have a gig. I need to figure this out. So I gave them my number and told them to hit me up if they couldn't do it. Never heard from them, so hopefully they got it.
No, that's usually a good sign. If you don't hear from... The golden rule is if you don't hear from the client, usually it's a good sign.
Right.
That's so cool. So somebody was using it on a live. Yeah, you definitely got to follow up and find out how their experience was using it in a live performance. Have you used it yet in a live performance?
No.
I guess you wouldn't really have a need to.
I haven't yet. I plan on it soon. I have
this
gig coming up in a couple weeks, this Loopy Fest, and I bought this CRT TV from Facebook, and I got like a digital to analog adapter for it, and I'm gonna hook that up.
Hell yeah!
So damn TV weighs 100 pounds though, and I didn't think about that until I picked it up from there. I was like, holy shit, this is heavy.
Remember back in the day, TVs used to be big and heavy.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But that'll be its first. That'll be its first actual gig.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've been just leaving them plugged up around the house, leaving them running for days just to check on how they're doing.
Check them on.
Stuff.
Super cool. Yeah. I mean, I think it's maybe a good time to jump into kind of seeing a little bit of how it works, and then when we kind of finish the set portion, we can talk a little bit more. Should we do a quick? I think we're pretty much ready to go, right? We have everything.
Yeah, I got to turn to the audio over here that feeds into it, and then I'll bring in the levels slowly, I guess.
Cool. I have audio control. Just FYI, if you have that.
Oh, okay.
I have a volume slider, so just boost your audio to the beginning, to the top, and I'll bring it in. I like this visual that's playing right now. Damn, it's cool. All right, so, what's up? I see your audio coming in.
Okay, and I have a separate control so I can not hear the audio as much.
All right.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, this is kind of like the default state where you just turn it on. You have audio and it just starts reacting. And it's on like a full auto mode right now, which is indicated over here. And you can see it's set to 100. So when it counts up to 100 beats, it'll automatically trigger another scene.
Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. Is it the beat detection real time, or is it more just like you set the BPM?
It's real time, yeah. It's FFT, and it's
nice.
Just it's looking at spikes in the audio basically.
Spikes.
So it's it's not like a smart beat detection, but and then so I have all these videos it comes with. I have 126 different scenes here. Right now, it's just like I said, it's just automatically queuing a random scene. So what you could do, you could have them all on, or you could go through and you can kind of hit these skip buttons here, and then that'll exclude them from the auto mode.
Let me look at. We want to look at the UI a little bit. Cool.
Yeah, so
Love
you can see all the different scenes here. Like I was saying, auto mode here at the top. In order to show you how the effects work, I'll turn auto mode off, and then I'll just cue something up. You can also manually cue at any time, but I'll manually cue this scene. And then you see this button for effects right here. If you click that, then you get a pop-up. And you can stack up to 3 GLSL effects at one time. And you have different audio bands. So you have the low, mids, and the highs. You see my 3 effects stacked here. I'll just crank up the intensity of the strobe flash. And this, all the effects happen in real time. So you have real-time control over them.
Nice.
But you can remove the effects by, clicking the X here, and then I can add another effect because there's an empty slot. So I could like add this one.
Trying to get
It's hard for me to tell.
It's hard for you to tell what?
Smoothness. Kind of the audio reactivity, looking through the stream window. But there you can see that effect is working.
Yeah, I'm gonna give us both at once so we can actually see what's going on. I should have done that before. My bad. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's like this one distort. So yeah, you have up to 3 effects that you can use on each scene, and then it just remembers like whatever you left it on last. So like once I hit done, it's saved to be like that. Let's go ahead and cue another scene here. So it was the real struggle was being able to get all this to run on the Raspberry Pi. So I had to be really crafty with the way that the effects were stacked, and then also how to deal with transitions between scenes.
Right.
Because yeah, like it runs fine right now, but then you stack 2 layers of this for a crossfade, and like then you're dropping frames. So what I had to do was, once it makes a cue, you fade the effects out, then you do the crossfade, and then once it completes the crossfade, you fade the effects back in. That's how I got around the GPU processing of the Raspberry Pi 5.
Interesting.
The limited processing of it.
It's super cool. It's very responsive, like surprisingly responsive. And this device is wireless, right? This is running on your. This is running far away from you on your computer.
It's actually right here beside me, but yeah, it could be.
But it is wireless.
As long as you're within Wi-Fi range, you can control it by connecting through the hotspot that the device broadcasts.
Amazing.
I wanted to do it that way instead of. Sorry, I have a hard time hearing you with the music.
No, you're good. You're good. I feel like it's very responsive. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I wanted to do it that way because I didn't want to have to deal with creating an app and dealing with like Apple app crap and all of that. This way, it's just you don't even have to have an internet connection. You just have to be within range of the hotspot.
The network. Yeah. Smart. How does it get? Is it getting audio just from a stereo jack?
Yeah. So each one comes with the USB microphone built into it.
Oh, no way! That's so cool.
So it uses that, but actually, right now, what I am doing is because of the live stream scenario, and I need to isolate the audio. I actually have this this really cheap audio card plugged into it
through a jack.
It'll detect. Yeah, it's just plugged in through the audio jack. Yeah, into the audio interface, and then USB into the Pi.
Gotcha.
So, whether you have a mic in or an audio device, it'll just automatically detect it and use it as your audio input.
Wait a second. So you're actually plugging in a sound card into the thing through USB, not through a audio jack?
Correct, through USB.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
so it can use an audio device? Doesn't need drivers?
It doesn't need the drivers. It'll just
That's awesome.
It'll detect, yeah. And this super cheap one I got doesn't even have drivers that exist for it. But I've also tested it with my Volt and whatever this other one I got is, and it detects it right away.
That's crazy. The Raspberry Pi, man, is such an amazing device. It's really crazy.
They're so dope, and there's
It's
you know
so
they're
dope.
saying the Pi 6 is coming out sometime this year or next year. We'll have even more GPU processing power.
Amazing.
And more CPU. Yeah, so pretty cool. Let's see, and then you can.
So these are all things that come preloaded, right? These are all preloaded. These clips.
This is all preloaded, and you can easily add your own visuals just by putting them on a USB thumb drive and then plugging it into the Pi, and then it'll come up as another folder. You see, like this folder is actually collapsible. Oh, right here. So you see my SD card folder that's collapsible. If there was a USB stick plugged in, there would be another folder there called USB.
Gotcha.
Just, you know, makes it super easy. Like, you don't have to try to... I didn't want people to, like, be having to go into the Pi and, like, configure a network and connect to the internet and, like, all this kind of stuff. I just wanted it to be, like, you turn it on, it loads the visuals on the drive and works, you know.
Makes sense.
Just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, so this is basically the scene selection mode. There's also a blackout button up here, so you can just fade everything to black that easy. And right here you can set the duration. So if I wanted to fade back in for 5 seconds, I'll just click it again and it'll fade back in like that.
That's awesome.
That's basically an overview of the scenes section. And then next there's a playlist tab. And this is where you can control, if you want to, what order your stuff is in. So maybe you're a band that like has a specific set, or maybe you're doing like a play or something. Anything basically where you want to control the order of it, but still have it automated. And then you can still manually cue in here, but in order to have it automatically play through each one, you just flip this button here. And then now what it'll do is it'll count the amount of beats in here, and then use that to trigger to the next scene. So now each scene has its own beat counter.
Question for you from the Chris Geards. Does it copy the new file to the Pi or just run from the USB stick? Good question.
It just runs from the USB stick. For now, what I want to do is if someone requests from me that they would rather have it on there, then I think what I'll do is I'll just build them an update file, and then they can drag their files onto it
and it saves it.
Then it'll actually load it on the SD card.
Yeah, it's a good feature to have.
I'm still thinking about like kind of solution. I could also have a button in here that says
transfer all,
copy it all.
Yeah.
But I haven't got to that yet. Actually, I should just do that. Like,
no, I think it's smart to keep it like keep it simple, stupid kind of situation. But yeah, I'm sure people are gonna want to be able to like, I guess the better thing is like if I plug in my USB key and make all my changes, if I plug it out and plug it back in, do I lose those changes? That's probably a more, you know what I mean?
On the files that were on the stick, it will lose them because it assigns to, it would lose them if you take the files off or if you change the names of them. It would also lose them.
Oh, but if I unplug it and plug it, like if I unplug it, add more files, plug it back in, it would keep the stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think so. Let me think about that.
Oh, you don't have to answer right now, but it's
find a workaround for that too, because I know what it's going to do is it's going to assign a chronological order based on the names of the file.
Right.
So it could actually mess up your scenes then if you add something alphabetically in between.
Yeah.
The workaround for that now, if you didn't want that to happen, you could rename all your files to have numbers in them.
Right. So it just keeps the numbers.
And then when you add a file, just add a later number on it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But yeah, that's something else I could probably develop more. Yeah, because I kind of figure the way most people would use this is they either just want their content to play randomly, and they want to like add to it every once in a while. Yeah, so that is something I should figure out more. Um, Dial in a setup for that. I hadn't really thought much about that, to be honest.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, here, and so then you can actually save your different playlists though, and load different playlists. So you could have multiple playlists for different gigs, or you know, maybe you have a playlist for ladies' night. Maybe you have a playlist for 25-cent pictures. They
For
don't do that
the
anymore. Nobody
for the
does.
firefighters union.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that pretty much explains the playlist side. And then for logos, this is where like, if you have a logo queued up, then you can have it set to be just on all the time like this. You can control the size here, and then you can also do like an auto fade thing. So you don't have to mess with it. It fades on, takes 2 seconds to fade on, it stays on for a minute, the logo's off for 10 minutes, then it comes back on. But you know how these management people are, they want their logo like every minute.
Of course.
But so I just built that into there so you can just set it and forget it. And then the last tab is actually for projection mapping.
Huh.
So you can projection map straight from the web UI, and you can do like multiple layers and slices. But I'll go ahead in here and I'll turn warp on, and then now you can see
Wow.
that I can projection map.
That's sick.
And because no one likes projection mapping with a touchpad, I put these D-pad buttons in here so you can select a point
Nice.
like top left, and then you can nudge it. Or I should do bottom right, and then so I can nudge it like that. Or by
Gotta be able to nudge.
Yeah.
And you can add more than one slice?
Yeah, you can. You can add another layer here.
Huh. That's
and then
crazy.
Turn its warp on.
But we're only doing edge warps, right? Like a not an edge warp, but like a 4 points.
It's warping, but you can also crop before your warp.
Okay.
So like you actually can like take a slice of it, and you do that through these controls here.
Gotcha. Oh, cool. I see.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you have controls for the width and the height, and then the X and Y position in order to get your slices.
Very cool. And are you gonna expand this at some point, like to give more shapes and things like that, or are you keeping it kind of simple for now?
Yeah, right now I have shapes for the masking aspect of it. So I can create a circle mask, and then if I turn on masking on,
Huh.
oh yeah, I
Gotta fit it in that small section.
yeah.
Interesting. So you have this mask. Okay, that's interesting. So you have different shapes for the masks.
Yeah, it's probably not the best example. I can reset all mapping here. And then what I'll do is just take the one slice and we'll add a triangle mask to it, and then let's see. Let's
What
change
happened?
the scenes real quick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that pretty much covers the mapping aspect of it. And then basically, other than that, I have the shutdown button here so you can properly shut it down, and this reset display output. And that's in case it's already on and you hot swapped it, then it might have a hard time renegotiating the HDMI. So I just put that button in there so you don't have to power it down, power it back on. You can just reset the display and it'll do it
Super
like that.
smart. Super smart.
Only thing left up here at the top, it shows you what's playing. It shows you this blue bar is actually the audio levels that's coming in. It's somewhat real time. And then the auto progress, you can see like how much the sound is making its threshold fill up before it cues the next scene
Mm.
for auto mode.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that like pretty much covers all the functionality of the DiPi VJ at this
Oh,
point.
wow, that's some interesting visual.
That's my wife.
Yeah.
Don't look at my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Don't look at my.
Why are
Except
you
for
looking
when
at me?
I'm.
Stop looking.
Except it's not like-
Ah!
you can only look at my wife when there's like a bunch of effects on her. You know, it's like the only way that you can like let people look at her. You're like, you can look at my wife, but only if she's got effects. Only if she's got GLSL effects on her. So there's
Oh, yeah.
also you have your own kind of like encoding. Is that right, or is that like more of
Sorry, say
like
that
you're-
again.
you have like your own encoding pipeline for playback?
I do, yeah. Yeah, it's it's H.264, 30 frames a second, 10 megabytes per second. But I went ahead and just made an app so that way like nobody would have to try to mess with Handbrake or like Media Encoder or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just it works a lot like my die looper. You just put it on the folder.
Yeah,
And you actually
like
have a
an
checkbox
FFmpeg.
in here to make it loop or not.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just actually finished that app like yesterday, and I haven't even really got it out there for people. It's on my website already on the product page if you're looking for it, but I haven't actually let everybody know just yet. Planning for that.
I
for a
love
while,
it.
but-
So, I guess another question would be like, who do you think this is for? I know it's like a kind of an obvious question to us, but like, who do you think this is for? What do you think the market like? Who are you trying to reach? I guess is my question.
Well, I look at it as like I feel like there's 3 different groups of people, maybe 4 different groups of people that would be into this. One being like just music and visuals enthusiast, somebody who's got like a sweet stereo setup and maybe a home projector or a nice TV, and they're throwing parties or get-togethers or whatever. I think it would be great for them. I think for DJs who are like traveling, doing smaller gigs, I think it'd be great for like weddings, corporate parties, all that kind of stuff. For AV professionals, like kind of like the situation I was mentioning earlier, where you want to light up the room in all these ways, but you don't want to use like 6, 7 different laptops and Resolume licenses. And then I think like small bars and venues could get a good use for it, because they could also put their videos of like their specials up there, like in rotation with the audio
In that
visuals.
sense, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Actually, wow, I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, like anybody that has a screen could benefit from this in some sense, especially. And somebody mentioned this at the beginning, that the price point is really apt, because if you're like, I'm just thinking about like what you just said is so smart. Like venues and like restaurants, they all have those screens that play back content. A lot of times, those content playback systems are so overkill for what they're actually doing, because there isn't like a middle ground product. So it's like, yeah, you could hook up a laptop, and then if you hook up a laptop, then you're running into like, what if Windows crashes? What if, and then you see the blue screen of death, or what if the then you have to pay for a software also every month, right? And then you have to like bring in a technician, subscriptions, and then if you're not using a laptop, you're just using like a hardware dedication, they're thousands of dollars, and maybe you don't need it for the 5 televisions that you have in your restaurant. This could actually really be a really super intermediary kind of product that's tried and tested, that's easy to access, easy to use, and gives you that benefit of like, hey, do you want to like spice it up? So it's not just a loop playing, it's an auto-reactive loop, or it's here's 10 effect stacks that randomize changes or whatever, and then it's like, okay, I don't have to like hire a new graphic designer every time to make me a new menu item. Oh, here we go. We just can use this like little thing. I think that's such a great vertical. You really should think about how to market it to those people in a smart way as well.
Oh, dude, I have been. Creating these reels to like get the information out there is so much work. To like really get one that nails right, like has the information at the right pace, has a hook like in the beginning, has the appropriate text for the cover thing, like all that stuff these days is such a fucking science. And like, and I've never been good about that. I've just always, I make art, I post it sloppily, try to come up with some cool hashtags, but I've never been like super focused about like, this is how to get people's attention and build trust and, all that other stuff. But I'm definitely planning on it having like a reel for the venue, having a separate reel that's more like corporate for the audio-visual world. And then also I think like a lot of visual artists, there's so many like video artists out there too who also don't have a particular interest in VJing, but
Yes.
would love like, some way to like put some audio reactive effects on their stuff.
Yeah,
or
they have some friends over or whatever, installations. Yeah, for sure. Sarah mentioned that she has a few retreats in the woods, and this would help reduce the stress of laptop dependency outside, which is, I mean, obviously I'm the worst target audience for this, but like so many people use, like, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without offending anybody, but lots of people use Resolume for, actually even me, and now that I'm thinking about it, sometimes I get hired to do like some, corporate stuff, and it's like, okay, I can use Touch Designer, but I don't really want to, it's simple, I'll just use Resolume. But it's like, really, even Resolume is overkill for some of those things. I'm not doing any advanced output. It's really just like, here's 10 clips on a timeline that I'm going 1, 2, 3. And it's like, okay, I have a Resolume license. I have a laptop, but maybe I don't want to use that. Maybe I want to make my bag light. Maybe I want to, maybe even not even be there. Here, use this thing. I'm not even coming. Pay me. might be a weird thing.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I've had jobs where it's like they want more visuals and stuff, and it's like, hey guys, then we need more laptop, we need like more software licenses.
Power.
And I can't make it happen because there's just not enough money there to like cover everything that they want. But this could reduce the budget quite a bit and still
huge amount,
quite a bit of bang. Yeah,
huge amount. And I think that we're still in the era, and again, it's not a knock on your product. It's more of like I'm sure maybe we'll talk about this later. I'm sure you thought about how this is going to affect the VJ industry, right? But it's still in that realm of like, yes, it is easy for anybody to learn how to use it, but you're still going to want that human element of like, what are the clips that are being used? What is the the routing of cables or whatever it is. There's still that element of like that you still need somebody to be there to like baby it. But also I would add to that like, if you're trying to sell to a venue, like, hey, you want to buy like 10 of my clips to play in a bar, you're going to make more money if you can offer them hardware that's cheaper. You're not going to like, if you think about it really, like the relationship that's being built when you sell your content to somebody is not the relationship of like, hey, they need me to come and make their Resolume better. The relationship is, hey, they're going to want to meet it when they want to make more new content. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like an interesting aspect. We have a question from Velomain. How are the units thermally? Could it be sealed in a waterproof enclosure without any fans or air ingress in the summer sun?
No, it would
overheat.
For sure. Yeah.
So
it's got to have ventilation. Like a laptop or PC would.
Like or even a projector or even a TV. You can't put a TV in an enclosure and it worked. But maybe there is a way to do a weather friendly or a you could make a version that is waterproof that has like some sort of air output that isn't that is self-contained. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's probably ways to do that.
Kind of like the projector cases we had at Opulent Tipple at Burning Man, where basically that you put the projector inside of a box with a plexiglass front on it, and it has an output fan and a filter on the input fan. That's what we were doing for that. But yeah, that would be cool. I mean, it would be sick to be waterproof,
dude. Imagine throwing like that would be. You could hit like such a niche market of like underwater displays, you know, where they're just like, I'm thinking like, you know, they have those mermaid shows at zoos sometimes or whatever, you know, where there's like a woman who like, I mean, sorry, a real mermaid who's in the water kind of like swimming around. Just imagine like having some screens in back of them. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, it would definitely be sick. I mean, because I do see this as being a tool too, like for the people who like to ride around on their bikes or at protests and like project things.
Totally.
I thought this
Gorilla.
would be super cool because
Gorilla, yeah.
And then in that case, it could also be nice if it was waterproof.
Yeah, when you get sprayed by the cops, you're saying, from the water cannons.
Yeah, pepper spray proof.
Pepper spray proof. So sick, dude. I feel like there's so many use cases, you know, and you've made it in a really nice way that is very user friendly, but also enables like it's like enabling a selling tool for VJs, for content creators, which I think is a really smart like kind of middle ground. Did you have any qualms about like it creating you know, less opportunity for VJs?
I mean, not really, because I don't see it as a replacement for a VJ, really, at least in the way that I partake in the art form, and I know that many do. I just feel like, you know, if you've got the budget for a VJ, yeah, it's going to be better having a human being there listening to the music and kind of predicting the flow, you know, and the emotion of like what's appropriate to play, you know. So I don't see it as a VJ replacement. But then also, like, I think back to, yeah, some of the early gigs I had were like I wasn't getting paid shit anyway, and then you walk away being like, why the fuck was I even here? Nobody even needs me. So then,
Right.
like, I would think, like, maybe in that situation, like, I don't know if I would be upset that, like, those jobs, if it did replace a job like that.
Right. Yeah, no, if anything,
but-
it's a benefit.
Yeah, and then it's probably going to be a visual artist who is approached, like, with somebody wanting this solution. They'll be like, well, you know what? I can't go in there, like, every weekend for $50 to, like, mix your thing. So, like,
Right.
how about, you know, this thing, and I'll load it up for you with your content or whatever.
Yeah, it's also like you're creating a space where, like, instead of a VJ having to figure out a remote access situation to be able to, like, you know, be able to work on it, they're kind of given a little bit of an option to, here's the thing, you know, keep it plugged in. I'll make sure that it's updated. I'll make sure that it's, you know, running the system, etc. Which I think is a pretty cool thing. We're getting Sarah loves the art included. It's gorgeous, she says. I think
you.
all this stuff is made by Matthew.
Yep.
So, you know, super cool. And are you planning on doing like packs, like different artist packs?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. I thought it could be cool to collaborate with other VJs and do like special editions ones. But
Oh,
also,
I like that.
you know, as if you have the DiePie VJ, you can also you could go to Gumroad and you could buy content that you have the rights to then play back as a visual artist, you know, and you could load it up that way. So I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to do like special edition, just make sure that people know that they can purchase clips and
Right.
do it.
Well, I mean, you know, I guess it depends on who your clientele is going to be eventually when you get, you know, bigger and bigger and more sales. But like, if your clientele is, you know, is people that don't know what they're doing, you're going to want to give them more options for more content. And also, I think the licensing thing that you just mentioned is such a critical aspect of, like, a lot of licensing for content is, are you using the content in your show personally? It's not like a corporate license or a commercial license. It's like middle ground commercial license. So maybe there's like a place where instead of having people have to think about that, anything that you're using is in that, you know, anybody can use it license.
Yeah. Okay. That is a good idea. I like that. Yeah, I've definitely thought about this kind of stuff a lot. I haven't moved really any particular direction yet, but
Yeah.
I have been giving it some thought. And then I thought too, you know, like people want like just a fire, you know, like visuals of a fire. For the
Right, right.
winter themed stuff, like
Motion graphics stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah. So I did think about ways to do that too. But yeah, I
yeah.
basically like took everything that I had on my VJ laptop and made and just like recorded out tons of mixes and made sure like I had the rights to everything that landed on here.
Nice.
So it's all like custom content. And I wanted like my art style in here, but then also I knew that like people would need and want like more generic sort of things, you know, not just like trippy ass eyeballs and teeth and tongues and shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I loaded it up, kind of like trying to touch everything across the board for like practical uses. But
Smart.
I left plenty of weird shit in here, and if you want just the weird shit, there's a playlist that it comes with, and it's called Wild, and that's the one.
I love it. We have your
Yeah.
your button from before, the weird shit button, but it
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah.
It's not connected anymore.
I heard it. Weird shit.
Yeah, I think having like a more coherent or like more varied content library that comes shipping with it is smart. You know, if you just think about like, yeah, like even like Netflix, right? Like offers those fire visuals, or like even I'm thinking about like Resolume, like the packs that come with Resolume are like, here's a motion graphics, here's an abstract, here's a weird one, here's a, I think having that content library that comes with it is smart. Obviously your stuff is vast and you have such a huge library that you're kind of like almost there with just your stuff, but yeah, I think that having that kind of like a more cohesive, maybe split into genre kind of, or split into use case, a library would make sense.
Yep. Yeah. I want to. I still like, this is going to be a work in progress for a while. Like there's still more playlists I want to create. There's like, basically it could just be never ending of kind of updating and expanding on this while keeping it as simple as possible. Definitely not finished. I got a list for Monday, but
sweet.
Yeah.
See you later, Sarah.
We've been going for a while. We did talk about Touch Designer too.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to jump into the Touch Designer quickly, and we can kind of leave some room for any more questions that people have around this stuff? I'd love to do that. It's a great idea.
See if there's any questions first, and then we could switch to Touch Designer.
Yeah, let's switch over, and if the questions come in, we'll take them as they come.
Okay, so that it's outputting to you now my screen from Touch Designer, and I just got to shift my audio device over here just slightly so I can reach this laptop.
Okay, let me
my
switch this over
headphones.
here. All right.
So this is
we have you in here. Moment.
and then I can.
All right.
So this is a fun little project
cool.
I'm doing for Loopy Fest. It's this
Sick.
psychedelic music festival coming up here in Huntington, West Virginia. It's a lot of shoegaze music, which if you're not familiar is kind of like a spacey, psychedelic, some would say kind of punk, but rock music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super stoked about it. This band Core Deluxe, that's the headliner. If you guys aren't familiar, check them out. They are freaking amazing. I just heard about them when I got this gig, but so all the music there sort of got like a bit of a 90s feel. That's when like shoegaze music was probably at its peak of popularity. So for this installation, I wanted to embody that. So I'm going with a glitch cam thing. So I'll have a camera set up, and then
Super
this
cool.
TV here will be projected. It's projected with a 1-to-1 ratio of about 20 feet back, so it should be 20 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted something fun that people could come up to and interact and maybe take pictures with their friends, take video with their friends, and see themselves on the wall. And actually, the way this is controlled is a lot like how Sci-Fi VJ is. It basically is counting beats and then will trigger scene changes. And actually, I noticed we haven't had a scene change yet, so I think right now it's hooked up to the snare, and I'm not getting like a strong snare. That's my signal right now. Let me see if I can find a sweet spot for this. Dang it. I wonder if it's because of the way I'm routing the audio. Okay, we're getting snare hits. So basically it's counting those, and then once it reaches to a certain number, it'll change like the feedback effects in the background, the background like overlays, which is all this stuff right here, the different background overlays stacked on each other.
I love the auto switching tool. That's super cool. That counts the beats. It's really nice.
Yeah, because I don't want to have like any MIDI controller for this. I want to just be able to put it up, and then people come interact with it, and it just changes, you know, at a certain time with the music. Because we'll have audio outside too. But I am feeling like I'm not getting like scene changes for this one, so I want to check that it is attached to the snare. And then we dive in here. This is all the feedback effects are in this.
Sick. Super sick.
Like, see, that's me coming in raw right here with my super sick shirt that I got at the West Virginia Punk Rock Flea Market. Dude does amazing ties.
We have a frozen situation here.
Oh.
What is going on? Why are we frozen? Let me see here. There we go. That should be better now. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, you know, I'm using pixelate effect, you got feedback, stretching it out, and then all these things are like you can't even, actually, yeah, you can see this coming through, but it's kind of the same as the other one where sometimes these effects are visible or they're not. It depends on where it is in the beat count. So, and then yeah, I'm using time displacement to get all the warp thing stuff, and I have
super cool
different modes for that.
This is going to be like an installation inside of the Loop Fest?
Yeah, at this venue, the Loud, there's a beer garden in the back, and I'm going to have this set up in the back, and it'll be projected onto a big white brick wall. So this whole output will be like 20 feet wide. Yeah, the idea is people are out there smoking, talking, whatever, and they can interact with this and see themselves on the wall. Hopefully, like take video and
cool.
pictures. Have fun, like doing this with them.
We have two questions. What time displace modes are there? Any optical flow?
No, I'm not using any. Oh yeah, I do have an optical flow right there. Let me see. It's actually, I made this time machine a while ago, so I don't actually remember what all is in here. So this is inside the displacement now. You can see I'm using these ramps and noise, and then I did use the pixel relocator as a displacement too. Let's see. Yeah, so these are my different push buttons that come in and then control the switch to the different displacement modes. What was the question again? Was I using optical flow? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not using optical flow. I wish I was, please. I should.
I mean, it's pretty. You can. You know, it's just one node, but like some things you don't need it for. I don't think.
You can try right now.
Let's go.
I didn't even know there was a node for that. There's optical flow. Oh, so we're gonna want to plug in
your clean feed probably. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so then plug this in here.
Into the displacement, yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
It's kind of cool. It's very glitchy, huh? But I wonder what.
No, because you need. I think you need to feed. You need it. You want to feed in your. You want to feed in your clean feed into that.
This would be my.
But it has background stuff, no? Yeah.
Yeah,
And it has colors. You know, you want to feed it like a
Okay.
super clean feed,
Alright.
like just the
So we
cleanest,
can put a
the
select in
cleanest.
there. We'll put a select in here, and then I will split my top here.
I think Pixel Relocator is a palette tool. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Pixel Locator is a palette tool.
Yeah.
So I'll go all the way back to my clean feed. Oh yeah, and I was doing some media pipe stuff. I don't have that on right now, but stay focused, Matt. What are you doing? Okay, there. Okay, so now we got. That is pretty fun. My computer's not loving it right now with all these displays on.
No, also the stream does take up some space as well, for sure.
Well, that's cool. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna save that for later. What the heck's going on here? And then because I was going for this like retro vibe, I wanted to do like a CRT kind of look at the end. So like, I didn't do the full like put it to 3D, separate the red, green, and blue because it was too much processing on the GPU. So I just went with lens distort and some noise on the displacement. Yeah, it's not like very CRT. Pretty much it's just all on this lens distort, but some bloom.
Really nice. Super nice neck stroke. Super nice nodes. Sorry, network.
Yeah, it's a mess right now. I'm still like in the middle.
I love his CRT thing. It's so cute. It's so cool. Yeah, you showed me those eyeballs before. I want to see those as well.
Oh, I gotta turn the face
there we
tracking back on. I'm going really slow over here now. The computer's getting hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much with this project I wanted to keep it like mostly straight video feed, so I might not even do it's going too slow to even tell, but it should be tracking the eyeballs onto my face now, but I'm just chugging along. I'm at like 13 frames a second at the moment.
Nice.
But I probably won't even do that just because of the GPU processing.
Love it. Super cool, dude.
Yeah. I just want to keep it simple, make it fun and trippy for people at Loopy Fest. I initially was thinking I wanted to do like stuff where I use the lead motion and they control maybe my with love one, where it's just like fractals and stuff and they could control it with their hands. But then I was like, no, I don't really feel like doing that. I feel like this would be more fun. People could see themselves. So that's the decision I made.
Hell yeah, I love it. Nice. So we're kind of running into the end here of the stream, and I guess thank you so much for your time, and for people watching, if you have any questions, please feel free to bring them up to Matthew. I guess what has it been like to be in this kind of different mode and realm of making a product? I'm asking because I have felt myself shifting for the past, I don't know, for a while actually, from being a quote unquote VJ or visual artist to a much more broader kind of thing. And it started off with kind of like getting into like a little bit of different verticals, different different realms, whether it was virtual production or vibe coding and things like that. And I'm just wondering for yourself, like, what has that experience been like? Of like, now you're making a product, you're kind of offering it in a, you still are staying adjacent to the live visual kind of world, But it's a totally different thing, websites, marketing, advertisements, physical, things, testing them, coding, all of these things are kind of like adjacent, but also separate. And how's that experience been for you to like branch out, quote unquote?
I think, I mean, it's happened kind of very naturally, I would say, because, I have always enjoyed kind of like tinkering with things and learning programming on that with like tangible things. Mostly my outlet through that was like hacking and stuff, and that was sort of a reason why I wanted the Raspberry Pi, was to create like a standalone kind of pen testing device, something like more powerful than the flipper. And then, so I don't know, it was like the same kind of curiosity, I guess, and obsessive compulsive kind of like hyper focus on a project, that just like I would do with an animation or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't feel that different, aside from the marketing, like have people online that I don't know, like either criticizing or that's been kind of new, because there's certain comments where like I want to respond because like I have a product and it's an opportunity to tell people about it. Whereas like in the past with my art or something, if there was a negative comment, I probably would have just ignored it or
right. It's like personal taste, like whatever.
Yeah, and this is less personal because I need to make sure this works for people,
Right.
So that part's a little bit different, but
not to be like like a gotcha kind of thing, but what have been some negative comments out of interest?
People being like, "Oh, well, I could build that myself."
Oh, I don't need that. I could just do it myself on whatever. Okay, well that's just like whatever.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, okay,
go for it. Yeah.
Why are you coming at me? Like,
yeah, hit me up if you have any questions. Like kill them with kindness almost.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. People being like, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty open that it's on a Raspberry Pi, but I guess I've noticed from some comments that people feel like I'm not as open about that. I figure it's in the name and it says it like on the website, but I guess someone who sees like the Instagram reel, they're like, I know that's a Pi. And it's like, okay, it is a Pi. That's why I call it.
Well, I mean, like, what else would you make it on? You're not going to make your own chip. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. There's a lot of different boards available. So Raspberry Pi is the best. It's just that's the way it is. Or I should say maybe not the best, but for your use case, the ins and outs and hardware available. I mean, that's going to be, there's not many things. It may be like some Snapdragon stuff, but they don't have all the inputs and output boards.
Totally.
And the Pi is kind of like tinkerability and out of the box kind of like amazingness that it has is really second to none. I mean, like even this thing that I'm using is a variation of a Pi. It's not a Raspberry Pi, but the board that it comes on is a Pi variant. It's yeah. I mean, it's just like, why wouldn't you use kind of? It's weird that that's like a gotcha. Like, oh, I got you. You're using Raspberry Pi. But it could also be, Matthew, sometimes people are just like, I want people to know that I know what it is. I'm like that. I want people to know that I know what it is, There's just different ways of doing it, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, so it's not that I even taken it personal. I guess I'm just like new to it. So, and then I have to, but I am looking at it as like every kind of negative comment is an opportunity to like, tell somebody about like a feature that shines.
Smart.
I mean, you can't be out there being like, hey, fuck you, buddy.
Well, that's what some countries do that for their marketing. Or they'll just block you, or whatever. I don't know. We didn't have to get political. Sorry, but that is a tactic of some company. That is a tactic of some companies. Is just to block and say fuck you. So I think the way that you're doing it is smart. It's funny because you almost said it like I get that sometimes with my visuals as well, with my art, especially your art is very contentious, right? You have very weird stuff and, it's not for everybody, but it's also like, super it makes you think a lot. and that's going to provoke many people to be like, hey, that's weird. Oh, that's you know, and you're like, whatever, it's art. You don't like it, don't look at it. It's fine. But now that you have a product, you do have to contend with that kind of like, you don't like it, that's okay, but let me tell you why you should. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it is a totally different thing. It's interesting that you're contending with that.
You know, potential customers, they're looking through the comments too, you know. So if I can respond to that negativity by putting information in there, that's less of a step they have, one less step they have to take to like find the information.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, you also mentioned at the beginning that you moved to West Virginia. I would love to just like maybe harper on that just a little bit of like, you know, to maybe in a positive light or whatever, in a authentic light. But I know it's been positive for you. Like in terms of work. In terms of finding work, I know that when you first moved out there, you know, you made a big effort to kind of like find the communities, find the, you know, the people that are going to hire you. You know, you did almost like a grassroots kind of effort. And it seems like it's paying off now with this Loop Fest. You know, tell us a little bit about that. What was it like moving to a new place, the fears, you know, what you did, some tactics, you know, some things that people can use as well?
Yeah, I was definitely scared moving here. But yeah, I just kind of hit the ground, like looking at what shows were happening, making friends with the people at like, we have a few venues, but there's one that's kind of like has not the best shows. They like the middle ground show. It's not a Civic Center, you know, it's like probably like 500 to maybe 800 capacity venue. It's nice. I mean, it's a really cool venue. But yeah, I had to kind of make friends with people there. And then I also got pretty lucky in that I started getting hired by the Huntington Recreational Parks District, because they have all these events happening all the time that they want to promote. And I've been like creating their reels. And actually that's how I got Loopy Fest, was somebody that worked there put me in touch with the Loopy Fest people.
That's awesome.
Like, oh, he's a psychedelic artist and he's local. Like he needs to be booked there basically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But the community here is great. Like, it's not huge. This is a small city, but like the artists here, there's just such a strong culture of like being weird and being like, so many people I know here are musicians. It feels like everyone you know is a musician. There's all kinds of amazing art. It's just a part of the culture here. A lot of people don't know this about this city that I live in, but for Appalachia, it's a pretty interesting, eclectic place. I don't think it's probably what people think about when they think of Appalachia. I love living here. I love the people. They're humble. They're so cool. I can show you out my window
beautiful.
right now. Like,
beautiful. Oh, geotag, geolocate, find him.
But
sick,
like,
dude. That's awesome.
The downtown is like 7 minutes away, but I'm kind of like in this cutty spot. So we're surrounded by woods. I have hiking trails like straight from my backyard.
I love it. I love it.
For a few miles. Like, I love it. My wife does too, which was the part I was worried most about. She's born and raised in Oakland, California, and it is a different culture here. So I was worried how you know she would assimilate, but she loves it too, pretty much for all the same reasons.
That's awesome. I mean, it's did you know any of the stuff about the art community before you moved there, or that was just like a happy accident almost?
Not really. Even though I grew up here, I was gone so long and like never even looked into it. So I was ignorant. When I lived here way in the past, punk was like the thing for for like underground types of people. So I went to a bunch of punk shows and stuff back then, but it's definitely changed now. And yeah, I had to like reintegrate all over, pretty much. My neighbor is right here down the street. He's actually in a very successful band. He toured with like Tyler Childers, and so it's kind of interesting that he works in entertainment too. And he has a daughter that's like same age as my son. They play together.
That's awesome. It's so nice.
Friends, so I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was easy to kind of fit back into it and meet the people. And I did like the art walk thing too. Like we do the first Fridays art walk stuff here, like a lot of cities do, and that was a great way to get connected with all the different artists, especially when I started
Art
like
walk?
shooting video. Yeah, it's like a lot of cities do it where it's like the first Fridays, a bunch of artists or businesses will host artists, or you'll have street vendors and artists out there like selling their artwork basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's really common. I know at least we had it in Oakland, Sacramento, San Francisco, and then I live here, and they do the same thing here.
Interesting. I got to look
Um,
into that myself. It's cool.
yeah, it's a way that like cities they put on these events to get their community connected with the artists and allow artists an outlet to show their work and sell their work. It's like a culture building exercise, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for tuning in with us. Guys, I'm so sorry about all the
Thanks for
technical
having me.
stuff. I know it's like we're learning. We're growing. We're learning. I'd like to say it won't happen again, but it most definitely will happen again. But we'll try and make it happen
Will
less.
always happen.
It will always happen. I just been really thankful for the audience tuning in, and for the great feedback that we've been getting. Again, I apologize for not keeping up with the weekly releases, but I really am trying to come back into that as much as I can. Check out Rem Repo. Keep updated. There's a social account as well. Go like it, whatever. When I fully release all that stuff, I'll give a better announcement. Maybe I'll interview myself on the podcast. That's always a great thing to do for people like me with those egos. They love that.
Well, you're working on so many new things too. Yeah,
I know.
You need an interview so you can talk about
I know. I honestly, I really like this venture for the Rem Repo thing was like a big question of like, should I just keep it on Visual Cast? I have this following now. Should I have this big following for Rem? But then I'm like, I kind of want to keep all these things separate, even though they're kind of similar. And I noticed that like with the podcast, because I opened up its own stream and kept it separate from Rem, then they kind of started growing a little bit by themselves, instead of like I even notice now like when I cross post on my Rem Instagram the podcast, it doesn't actually help. It actually maybe even makes my Rem brand lower, because it's like, where's the art, where's the visuals, so I thought it was a good thing to separate. It is like annoying that I have to build a whole new following and audience, but I'm hoping that there will be some interesting cross things. Matthew, anything you want to share with us before we fully say goodbye?
No.
No.
Thanks for tuning in and letting me share this with you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, please.
And thank you for having me.
Of course, my friend. I'm excited. I think that we'll have to have you back again in another year and see where we are and what we're doing, and kind of get that updates. So everybody check out Matthew's stuff. I have all the links in the chat. I'll put also the links in the episode when it releases. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and have an awesome weekend, everybody.
that.